You have 2 seconds. If you do not make a good first impression in that 2 seconds, you have 30 seconds to recoup. If you do not recoup in 30 seconds, on average, it will take 8 interactions to change their opinion of you. You got to make sure sharp as a tack, enthusiastic, expert in your field. You need to come across that way in 2 seconds. Let's go. Today's conversation is about closing. Closing is helping someone do what they would do if they knew what you knew. Meaning, if they were as educated as you, they would buy that product. If they were as educated as you, they would move forward. If they were as educated as you, they would be doing for themselves what you were trying to do for them. 3 things that will affect your closing ratio. And I think it's really important to understand. Number 1, a bad market. A bad market. Guys, we are in the business of helping people. But there is such thing as a bad market, where there's only so much that you can possibly do, okay? And so this is the worst thing that you can do. The worst thing that you can do is doubt your own abilities because of a bad market that you are in. I remember there was a time where I'm helping all these families, and then I just went through this dry, 2 to 3 week spell. I'm like, man, nobody's saying yes. Nobody's moving forward. Am I bad at this? Did I just go from good to bad? Did I lose my edge? Did I lose my ability? And I had my mentor looked at me and goes, no, Matt, you're just in a bad market, and a bad market is making you look bad. And so now all of a sudden you are losing confidence in your ability, but it's not your ability, it's you're training a bad market. I said, all right, that's important, okay? So 3 things that affect your closing ratio. Bad market. When you are profiling a field training list, are you controlling the market? Are you just allowing the training to put anyone and everyone on a list, or are you controlling the list and then controlling the point of contact to make sure that you're not just meeting with anybody and everybody? Make sense? Because what do most people do? Most trainees will set up field training appointments with low-hanging fruit in their life. Why? Because they have confidence to call them, and they don't have confidence to call the other ones. Let's just be real here. And so it's your ability as a trainer to control the list to make sure that you're not just meeting with Joe Schmo in their market, but you're meeting with people of actual influence, people that are actually doing decently well. You're controlling that list to make sure the list is in a quality market. Number 2, a non-credible agent. A non-credible agent. Guys, I hate to break this to you, but the reason that maybe your field training appointments didn't go as well had nothing to do with our ability and could have potentially had everything to do with you not being credible in your market. Just the reality of it, okay? And it doesn't mean you're a horrible person. It just means you don't have influence just yet. And it doesn't mean you can't turn that around. But as you're meeting with somebody, you got to ask yourself, is this an agent that when people say, I'll give you guys an example. Let me stop sharing real quick, okay? If I'm field training Julio and I'm on an appointment, are they thinking to themselves, I know exactly why you would hire Julio. He's X, Y, and Z. Or are they thinking, I have no idea why you hired that guy. Those 2 differences in opinions is the difference between you getting a result and not. Make sense? So, if I'm taking Robert out on an appointment, and if they're wondering why in the world did we move forward with this guy, that is an uncredible agent. Versus if I take Robert on a field training, they say, I know exactly why you hired that guy. He has a good work ethic. He's a person of integrity. He's a good dude. I know why you would hire that guy. That right there is the difference between you having success in a field training appointment and you not having any success at all. Does that make any sense right there? Okay, fantastic. Number 3, an incapable trainer. Trainers, you got to make the commitment to become competent. And one thing I love about how we do things here is we have a full train-off process, right? A full process before somebody's allowed to sit down with families. We verify they got the presentations down. We verify they got the illustrations down. We verify all of those things, okay? And I love that about how we do business. But at the end of the day, it's what you learn after you get signed off as a trainer that makes all the difference in the world. Are you studying? Are you reading the books? Are you mastering your presentations? Are you working on your people skills? Are you working on your relationship skills and your ability to build trust? Are you working on all of these things? And if the answer to that question is no, that is a problem. Okay? And so these are the three things that will affect your closing ratio. Bad market, non-credible agent, incapable trainer. But if you have all three, if you have a good market, a credible agent, and a capable trainer, you are it'll be the biggest laydown in the entire world. The biggest laydown in the entire world. It'll be so easy a caveman can do it. You walk into appointments and it's as if it's a done deal before you even walk in. We have a powerhouse lady that makes $400,000 a year in our industry. And I remember training her, and literally every single appointment we walked into, it was like I just brought in my laptop and filled out an application and walked out. You don't know why? Because she was influential in her market. And I was good enough trainer where I can communicate what they were trying to get in a matter of 5 to 10 minutes. And we would walk in and walk out. Boom. Out the door. So it's up to us, because you guys are the trainers. You're logged in full time on a Monday morning. It's up to us as trainers to say, I'm going to work on my communication skills. I'm going to work on my knowledge. I'm going to work on my competence. I'm going to work on my ability to get a yes. I'm going to improve my ability. Make sense? Can we do that? Yes? When somebody meets you, you have 2 seconds. You have 2 seconds. I think sometimes we think, I have all the time in the world. You do not have all the time in the world. You have 2 seconds. People look you up and down and they judge you within 2 seconds. And there are 3 things that need to happen within that 2 seconds. Number 1, they got to look at you and be like, this person's sharp. Are you dressed up? Is your hair well groomed? Are you looking professional? If the answer to that question is no, right? Like some of us, I'm looking on this call, I'm like, all right, you're ready to sit down, with the client right now. Some of us, I'm looking on this call, I'm like, it doesn't look like you have any client appointments today. And I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but you got to realize we are dealing with people's money. Do you think I'm going to give my money to somebody that's not sharp, that does not look like they're a professional in their field? If you want people to give you their money, you have to look like money. Well, Matt, this is just who I am. Well, who you are, nobody's going to buy from. So we're going to have to sharpen our axe. Okay? And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to be direct, because if I'm direct with you, you get better. If I'm just fluffing your pillow all the time, we don't. And when I came into this business, do you know what I didn't have? I didn't have the finances to be able to go get a suit. So do you know what I did? I went to the thrift store in the wealthy neighborhoods and I bought a suit jacket and I had a couple dress shirts and I got myself looking sharp as a tack, because when people would log on to the call, I would want to make sure that the moment they logged onto the call, they're like, man, I'm dealing with a professional. I'm dealing with a professional here. They're sharp. Their background is clean cut. They don't look like they're standing in a cave. Some of us, our lighting is so bad, we're like in a cave. Question, if there was somebody standing in an alley at night, would you walk towards them? No, why? Because you can't see them clearly. And some of us, our Zoom looks like we're standing in a cave. Make sense? Go on Amazon, pay $4, get a light. Let's look the part. You guys with me on that? Like all of these things, people are judging you. They are. I hate to break it to you, but you are being judged by a book. Like you are. Okay? So we got to make sure we're professional on that side. Number 2, enthusiastic. Enthusiastic. People who bring energy are confident. People that bring no energy lack confidence. Who do you think people's going to trust their $1 million with? The person who has enthusiasm and a strong level of confidence, or the person that is timid? So people that say, hey, people that will log on enthusiastic. Hey, Tony, how's your day going, my man? You know what that says? It says, I'm confident in me. I'm confident in me. And if you really want to show your confidence, compliment them. Because only a confident person will compliment other people. But we got to be enthusiastic and an expert in your field. You have 2 seconds. Hear me. You have 2 seconds to come across, have these 3 things come across. 2 seconds. If you do not make a good first impression in that 2 seconds, you have 30 seconds to recoup. If you do not recoup in 30 seconds, on average, it will take 8 interactions to change their opinion of you. How many of us have 8 interactions with a client? Nobody. You with me? Nobody does. You have 2 seconds. 2 seconds. You got to make sure. Sharp as a tack, enthusiastic, expert in your field. You need to come across that way in 2 seconds. This is why it's also important when people log onto your Zoom, do you just have your camera on and are you looking? Because if you're like this and somebody logs on, oh, hey, how's it going? You just lost the 2 seconds. Congratulations. Make sense? You have to be on your game. You have to be on your game. People are judging every last minute. I hate to break it to you, it's just the reality of it. That's why I'm being direct with you, okay? So when it comes to closing, there's such thing as a straight line close, okay? What that means is there are certain things that need to happen along the closing journey in order for them to get comfortable enough at the end to say, I want to buy. So when you are meeting with a client, keep in mind, everything that's going to be on this page has to happen in every singular appointment. In every singular appointment. It can't be like, oh, I'm going to do these two and I'm going to leave everything out. No. All of these things have to happen in every singular appointment. Number one, that you need to build trust in you, the company, and the product. You, the company, and the product. They can't just trust the company and they just can't trust the product. If they don't trust you, they're not moving forward. If they trust you but they don't trust the company, that's a problem. You need to establish trust in all three areas or else they are not moving forward. Okay? What are some ways that you can establish trust in you? Number one, have the trainee edify you. When the trainee edifies you, the appointment walks in with a little bit more trust. If all of a sudden, Renako is my trainer and Christina's my appointment and I edify Renako to Christina, say, hey, Christina, I just want you to know this is one of the most well-trusted individuals in our industry. I trust him tremendously. He's not only extremely competent, but he's a great dad. He's a great man. You with me on that? Now, all of a sudden, Christina's showing up to the appointment and she's like, wow, I'm coming in with borrowed trust. Make sense? Another way you can build trust in you is you got to give your 2-minute story on why you're passionate. Hey, this is why I love what I do. This is why I believe in what I do. This is why I'm passionate about what it is that I do. People want to do business with people who love what they do. Who love what they do. Not people that are just doing it to get a check. So when you're able to say, hey, listen, Sam, like, this is why I love what I do. So this is why I'm so passionate. This is why I'm willing to work 12, 16-hour days. Because X, Y, and Z happened in my life. And I wanted to make sure that no family ever had to experience like that in their life. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I love what I do. Do you know what that tells Sam? This guy's not just doing it to do it. This guy's doing it because he believes in it. Who do you think Sam's going to want to do business with? Guys, you got to remember, people don't buy the products. They buy you. Okay? It's very, very important. And then I always try to edify myself a little bit. Because I'm so passionate, Sam, I've been fortunate enough to become one of the top brokers in all of Southern California. And because of this, I've been placed into a leadership position where I'm training people like your good friend Gabby to learn how to represent our firm properly. You know, one of the reasons that we fell in love with Gabby is because she just has a heart for helping people. She's a person of integrity. And so I got placed into this leadership role to find and train people like Gabby so we can go make a bigger difference in this world. What did I just do? I just put myself on a pedestal. I'm one of the top brokers in all of Southern California. You guys with me on this? Okay? I put myself in a humble manner. We got to build trust in the company. One of my favorite things, if I'm offering North American, do you know what I do? I go to the North American website and I show credibility. If I'm offering F&G, I go to the F&G website and I show credibility. If I'm doing American Equity, I'm going to the American Equity website and I'm showing the credibility page. Hey, American Equity, #1 annuity provider in the United States for 2025. Boom. You guys with me on this? I'm showing credibility. Hey, I'm just a representative. This is the company your money's going to be with. Let me show you how powerful the company is. Make sense? And then the products, I think sometimes we oversell the product, meaning we make it sound too good to be true and we don't give people a catch. One of the things that I realize is that if you give people a catch, they actually trust the product more. That's why I don't mind talking about the fees in a policy. Make sense? Because it actually establishes and builds trust. And they're like, what's the catch? Well, here's the catch. Make sense? So I think that's a powerful thing. So straight line closing, we build trust in all three areas, you, the company, and the product. Number two, we have to sell with both emotion and logic. Emotion and logic. You can't just sell with one or the other. People buy on emotion and then they rationalize later on logic. And so if you sell just on emotion, you're going to get a text in 1 week canceling. But if you sell on emotion and logic, emotion is the reason they buy, logic is the reason they keep it. So when I'm going over the illustrations, I say, hey, Christina, this right here is what we call the legacy column, which is the money that would go to your family if God forbid something were to ever happen to you. And the reason this is so powerful, Christina, is because if you put in $300 today, we're delivering a check. If God forbid something were to happen to you, we're going to deliver a check for $750,000 tax-free to the people that you love and care about the most. Okay. Christina, can I ask you a question? Yeah. Do you happen to know anyone that, maybe lost someone that they loved and cared about, and because of it, their family struggled financially? I go, yeah. What happened? This happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. Is the family doing okay now? Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that happened to somebody that you love and care about. Christina, would you ever want your family to have to go through something like that? No? Right? And I don't blame you for that. And that's the power of this product. And Christina, it's one of the reasons that I'm so proud of you for looking into this, because it says that you're not like a lot of other people in the population that aren't planning for their family if God forbid something happens to them. And it says a lot about your integrity. It says a lot about your character. And it says a lot about just how wise you are as a person. What am I doing? I'm placing him into an identity of buying. Make sense? What did I do? I sold on a what here? Emotion. Make sense? Okay. And then I'm at the end of the solution. Hey, Christina, if we're going to allow you to move forward with a solution and a program like this with our firm, one thing that's important to us is for us to know that you understand the program that we're getting set up for you and your family here today. So, Christina, what would you say are the 3 to 5 things that you love most about this program that we're setting up for you today? And then now she tells me why she's buying. That's the logic. Does this make sense? Okay. I can go on and on, the numbers, all of it. But my whole point is we got to make sure that we sell not just on emotion, but also on logic, because emotion is the reason people buy. Logic is the reason that people keep it. You have to use both, not one or the other. Gentlemen, men, we are naturally more logic oriented. So what does that mean? That means you leave out the what? The emotional side of things, because you're numbers driven. This is the numerical. There's a problem with that because there's no emotion in it. So as a man, you got to realize, like when you're talking to a man, guess what you have to do? You have to make sure that you're tapping into the emotional side of things. Okay? Ladies, naturally, you're more emotional. Not a bad thing. That's your superpower. That is your superpower. Okay? So ladies, when you were talking to a woman, one thing that you got to make sure that you do is make sure that the logical side of things is there, because they will buy it because their love for their family. So you just got to make sure that the numbers make sense after the fact. So when they're rationalizing 3 months later, it makes sense. You guys get this? Okay? These are superpowers that men and women have. Not one bad, one good, one bad. These are superpowers. Okay? And if we can learn to channel these superpowers in a positive way, we will have tons of success as we go out there and we help families and we field train. Okay? It's a beautiful thing. It really, really is. And then last but not least, the hot seat. We got to make sure that we put every single person in the hot seat. This is what I realized. Most people do not disturb. You want to know why they don't disturb? Because they're afraid, like, man, if I offend them, they're not going to move forward. No, you have to disturb them. I'm not saying offend them, but disturb them. I'm not saying offend them, but disturb them. Why? This is like a crude analogy, okay? But people move when they're uncomfortable. Like, how many of us have woken up in the morning before and maybe we had to use the restroom, but we were so comfortable that we didn't want to get out of bed? When did you finally get up? When the uncomfort was more uncomfortable than the comfort. Yes or yes? I'm the only one that's ever happened to? Yeah. Hey, I'm just trying to be honest here. Okay? So when did you move? When you became uncomfortable. Like, you know what? I got to use the restroom, but this bed is more comfortable than the uncomfort of having to use the restroom. And then you finally got up when it was more uncomfortable to stay there. So it's the same thing in sales. People are naturally comfortable with their 401k. They're comfortable with their Roth. They're comfortable with their IRA. They are comfortable. And so if you're like, hey, there's this solution and it's better, like, yeah, but I'm good. See the problem? So we need to disturb for them to feel uncomfortable enough to want to move. So when I'm going over variable on the three rules of money, and I say, hey, do you happen to know anyone that has an account like this? And they go, yeah, what do I have? Or what? Do you happen to know anyone that has an account like this? They go, yeah, I have something like this. I'm like, hey, if you don't mind me asking, what do you have? They go, oh, I have a 401k. I say, ooh. I mean, Teresa, we offer the 401k, but Teresa, have you seen all the articles that have come out? You haven't? Teresa, I feel like just as a financial professional, I have a moral obligation to show you this. Let me pull up on Google real quick. 401 Create founder says he created a monster. Hidden fees in a 401k. And I'm going to bring up Google and I'm going to let Google destroy the 401k for me. I'm not going to do it. I'm the messenger. I'm going to let Google destroy the 401k for me. And now guess what? Now guess what Teresa is? Uncomfortable about her own 401k, which is going to lead to a what? A rollover and or a redirection of premium. Does this make sense? This is the disturbing side of things. And then enticing is just making sure that they understand all the solutions. They love the product. Wow, this is incredible. These are all the bells and whistles. It's how awesome it is. Okay? The big thing here is the disturb, because most people are afraid to disturb. That's why going back to the legacy column that I talked about earlier, or the living benefits, Mr. and Mrs. Client. Do you happen to know anyone that's ever gotten diagnosed with an illness and because of it, their family struggled financially? Yeah. Who did it happen to, if you don't mind me asking? 76% of Americans have gotten diagnosed with an illness, right? So what does that mean? It's most likely someone in their own household, probably 76% of the time, right? They well, my family. So what happened, if you don't mind me asking? Walk me down the road. They tell me the road of pain. So, oh. Asia, I'm sorry that happened to you and your family. Is everything good now? At least decent now? Yeah. Obviously, we would never wish this upon anyone. But would you ever want your family to go through something like that? Your household, your kids? No. And I don't blame you for that, but that's the beauty of this solution that we're setting up here for you today. Is if God forbid something like that were to happen, your family's good. Does this make sense, guys? Okay? This is the emotional side of things. I want us to master the art of closing. Okay? When you're field training, all of those three things need to happen. You need to build trust, you need to sell both on emotion and logic, and you need to have a hot seat. You have to, no matter what, get good at all of those things if you want to have success. Does that make sense? You have to. It can't be one or the other.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.